gentleman now that goes back to meeting Chuck and getting Chuck's broadcasting career going back to the Canadian Army in Germany. Frank Pavlick, could you come forward, please, and give us a few brief remarks about those golden-throated radio days in the Canadian Army in Germany. Frank Pavlick, everybody.
Well, probably I am in a position to talk about Chuck in a little different way than most people, because we started off with an adventure that was unbelievable. You can never imagine. Frank Pavlick is my name, and I was a soldier in those days. I went to Korea, and then after that I went to Germany. And it was in Germany that we met Chuck with the CBC. We were working there. And this guy and I just absolutely, we couldn't spend more time together and be less of soldiering and more of reading and adventures. We were talking about things like that. And of course in the Army, people are very strict and they want it done this way and that way. And there were a couple of things that happened I just have to share with it. Because the parts I'm telling you here, yes, he was generous. Yes, he was brilliant. He proved it to me time and time again, because I thought I was pretty smart. And I'd say, well, and I'd say something, and Chuck would say, no, that's not right. What do you mean it's not right? And I'm like that. I said, that's right. What do you mean it's not right? What bad? Man, I lost more money to Chuck Davis than anybody I know. I'll tell you what. The marks were flowing out of my pocket. He said, you want to bet some more? I said, no. No. You win every time. Now, I'll tell you just a couple of quick stories there. And this is the one we did on the Garbo show. Funny, I'll tell you what. And Chuck was in the studio, and I didn't know he was in the studio. I live in Red Deer. I didn't know he was in the studio. And so Vicky said, well, she was asking different questions because I work as Canada's sports poet. That's what I was on doing the show at the time. But she knew Chuck was that we worked together. And when we got on there, and we were start talking about different things, and she said, well, weren't you in Germany with I said, oh yeah, you know, and I get on it, and I just rave and roar, you know. It's always great, man. It was really great. I was there with Chuck Davis, and she said, Chuck, well, what was he like? And of course, she's got me all set up because Chuck's in the studio, right? And I'm going, oh man, that guy's funny. You can't believe it, Vicky. I'll tell you what. You want me to? I'm gonna allow a story for BC and the world to hear about Chuck Davis. I'll tell you about that. Oh, she said, go ahead, dude. I'm going, oh, fell right into it, right? I said, yeah, we were stationed in Verrill, which indeed Chuck corrected me later. It was Vicky. Just one more time, he didn't. And anyway, and she said, what was he like? I said, oh, he's the funniest guy I ever met. I said, you know, one time he was sitting in the bathtub bare naked. I said, Vicky goes, oh, I don't know whether we want to hear. I said, no, that's the way. We're just sitting in there reading the dictionary, and I was on my way to play soccer. We were playing soccer over there. And when I came back, he was still sitting in the bathtub reading the dictionary. And he looked up and he said, oh, hi, Frank. And I said, hi, Chuck, what are you doing? He said, did you know? He didn't even mention that he was bare naked in the bathtub. He didn't mention that he was reading the dictionary still. He didn't mention any of that. What was the game score? Like a normal. He wasn't normal, man. He was a genius. He was brilliant. He was wonderful. I loved him. I just looked at him. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, then he said, did you know that? And I'm just speculating. I don't remember what he said. This is over 50 years ago. But anyway, and he said, did you know that a green anthropologist is only located in Australia if it has 3 legs, but if it has 6, you can find 2 of them in New Zealand? I said, no, do you wash? And that's the way it went. I loved it. He was so good and so great. But I said that I would reveal a story today. And I love Chuck, God bless him. I'm going to reveal a story of him today that's never been heard before. I'll tell you how he began his radio career. I don't know what he did before when we were in Germany. But this story is about as good as it gets. I don't know any better than this one. And it brings me down, of course. But you can picture it. All you folks are in the business. The radio, newspaper, television, you've all been in that world. Anyway, so Chuck wouldn't laugh. He wouldn't laugh. He was serious. He knew his copy. He knew his work. He knew his script. He was reading the CBC News. And he just, no way he's laughing. And I said, I'll make him laugh. I will make him. And I never worried. I'm 20 years old or something. I don't care. But I said, he's got to laugh. You know, it's in radio. You don't let a guy get away with that. He won't laugh. And he's strict. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the CBC News. And away you go on the side. So there was a glass in front of the studio where he was reading. Okay? And one night, he was in there getting ready to read the news. And I said, I'm going to get it. I took all my clothes off. That's part of the story I'm telling, but it didn't happen all that much, twice and whatever. But I said, I got to make him laugh, and I was going to make him laugh, no matter what it took. My credibility was going down, I'll make him laugh. So he's reading the news, and he just got started. And I took all my clothes, now this is glass, and Chuck was sitting in front of this glass reading, right? And so I take all my clothes off, and I go like this. I go like this, right in front. And there's the glass here, and I go, down, 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 down. I go like this, and then I go. Well, he broke up. Absolutely broke up. But that isn't the finish of the story. The finish of the story, there was an old putzfrau sweeping. Just down there, she looked up, an old lady, you know, in Germany over there. She was sweeping the studio, or the aisle there, and she looked up, and here I am. Well, Chuck absolutely, I can tell you, I've never told this story before, and I shall never tell it again. I can only tell you this, wherever Chuck is, I promise he's laughing. He's laughing right now. Put your hands together. Now, with this line, I heard it about death one day, and I said, I'm taking that and I share it with you now. Please enjoy it. And if you believe the way I'm reading in this statement, I said, I will never forget that. And whenever anyone passes on, I will use it. And that one, it went like this. A guy from Key West phoned me up. He was a musician friend of mine. And he phoned me up and he said, he's one of our good musician guys died. A guy I played with for 45 years. His name was Pete Watts. And I said, oh, it's kind of a sad day. Pete died. And Eddie told me over in Key West, and Eddie said, well, it's a great day. I said, how did it be that Pete died? And he said, well, this is the first day of his new life. Isn't that great? This is the first day of his new life. And wherever Chuck is, he's been there a little while. He'll have control of the place